We're B&B Gallery, that's Ed Bradbury.
And Florence Blanchard.
And we're based in Sheffield on Mary Street. We've got a gallery in the front where we exhibit visiting artists, and in the back we've got a screen print studio.
So at B&B we like to invite artists to do exhibitions in our front room, which is the gallery, and the gallery is connected to a screen print studio where we do collaborations on print editions. The way I like to do screen printing is more a hands-on way where I like to design the visual on a piece of paper. I try to not use the computer, and for example that series of print editions I produced for Millennium Galleries for the Printing Sheffield exhibition is something I really wanted to do without a computer. So I designed the whole thing with my hands, and I painted straight onto sheets of true grain so I could expose screens with them.
It's kind of like a photographic process at first, because you're coating the screen with a light-sensitive emulsion, putting your artwork against that screen and then exposing it to UV light. After it's exposed, you wash out the negative space, which is where your artwork is, and through that negative space you can print using acrylic ink. Then you need to dry the screens and set them up on the print bed, tape off any sort of areas where there might be some holes or gaps or places you don't want the ink to go through, and then start printing. The inks we use are acrylic based, and they're just mixed with a percentage of medium. If you don't use the medium, the acrylic ink will dry very quickly into the mesh, and it's almost impossible to make a whole edition because the ink is already drying into the screen. Sometimes
it's a bit challenging because you have to work so quick and be precise. It can be a bit stressful. It's just a matter of adding the right amount of medium, and also having the right marks on the print bed where to put your paper each time to not miss the alignment between two layers.
You need to register the paper so you know that each time it's going to be in exactly the same place as the screen's hitting the print bed.
I don't really like trying to do what I'm doing with the paintbrushes with screen printing, because it doesn't really work. The shading is not as fine with pixels or with little dots than when it is with paintbrushes. And in that way I like the constraint because it forces me to go in another direction, and that's what I think I'm always looking for when I do stuff, is a bit of challenge, because I feel like that's the way you can evolve in your practice.
Once you've been through the process of screen printing, you understand how you can put the artwork together, and it's quite hard to visualise until you've physically done it. If you work in Illustrator or Photoshop and you understand working in layers, that's really what you're doing in screen printing. You're putting different layers together on top of each other that creates a full image. A lot of the prints we've done with other artists, we might have tested them out 2 or 3 times in different colours and on different papers, maybe even different sizes or slightly different half tones or things like that to then get the end result that we really want. The artists that we work with in the gallery, we tend to pick them because we think that their work can translate well into print as well, because that's something that we're interested in. And we also make work ourselves, so all those sort of skills and the application of those skills we can translate into our own work. What we learn through one print or one artist, we can sort of translate that into other areas. Sometimes the prints coincide with the exhibition specifically as a kind of souvenir of that show, and sometimes it's outside of the exhibition but just artists that we enjoy working with. We're much more interested in collaborating with different artists and doing different types of work as opposed to being a commercial print studio just making work for clients. This is really an extension of our studio practice